Hello everyone. Right, usual thing, can someone drop in the chat, make sure you can hear me? I'm sure you can, to be fair. Let's just turn that around a little bit. There we go. How is everyone? Right, so I'll give you a couple of minutes so a few more people can join in. Tonight, well, I think it's got on a tight where Amiga 37 prep. Look, monitors. Let's get this down. Let's move this out of the way. I should have moved that earlier, shouldn't I? Bring this closer. There we go. Okay, how's that? Well, I can tip it up like that. You might be able to see it. Nah, maybe not. Oh, in case you haven't seen my microphone. Right, so I'm obviously preparing for the Amiga 37 show. And I prepared a little video. It's about 23 minutes long. So I'm going to run the video and then I'm going to come back and Q&A. Now, if you want to ask me questions while the video's going, I'm sitting here, so I'll answer any questions. And then we'll go through some bits and pieces about the monitors. Again, you know, I'm banging on about the monitors, but of course, hey, that's my future, basically. And we'll go through that. But have a look at the video, and at the end of it, the usual outro, I'll tell you when, and you can just turn it off. That's more for people who don't know anything about the company and what I do. It would be nice for those who want to, at the end, watch that. It's about 3.5 minutes long. It's not forever. I've kind of stripped it down. If you want to watch that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. A little thing, this isn't going to be part of it, but the next stream when I come back, I'm actually being sponsored or starting to be sponsored by guess who. I haven't actually prepared for this, so we're not going to count this as one, but PCBWay have got in touch and they wanted to sponsor me. Now bearing in mind I spent thousands with PCBWay, so he's like, oh, okay, you're going to sponsor my channel and let me, and then give me some money and give me discounts or stuff. Oh, wow, I've been spending money for ages. So the next video, I'll be prepped for this. Actually, I don't think I'll be doing one next Monday because I'll be knackered. But the following one, I'll be all prepped. And it's more, I think, about sponsoring these things because I get quite technical and I'll go into details of all the products that I've had made from PCBWay. So if you've got one of my cases, you'll have PCBWay products. There you go. So no logos, not expecting any cash, but they're on board. It's really nice. So every little helps, because I'm trying to get more Patreons. So if you want to watch the end, great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on this video, and I did it earlier on. It's about 23 minutes, but it's worth watching. It's not one of those, oh, I'll come back. It's probably worth watching. It goes into details about the AROS machine and the stuff I'm taking, explaining what I'm taking and, that kind of thing. All right, I'll come back in about 20 minutes. If I can remember which one it is. Hi, first of all, sorry about the noise. I'm really doing an awful lot getting the printers ready for Amiga 37. And I've got my 3D printer going. I can't stop it. It's just one of those things. It's got to finish off what it's doing. It's making mounts for, all the monitor brackets. So yeah, I can't turn it off. Hopefully in the stream it'll be finished. Alright, so Amiga 37, what am I taking? Obviously I'm taking monitors. Yeah. Now this one's quite special. Now the one behind me, right? This is my one I've been using for a long time, and this is basically what we're calling the light version. Now, I'm not going to go into great details on this because you should already know, but if you don't, it'll be all in the Kickstarter. But basically, there's an initial version, a light version to get you up and running, and a different path to go through. So a lower cost path, but there's certain things you miss, as opposed to the. I'm not sure if it's going to be called the Pro yet or something like that, but more advanced. And basically, if you look inside there, yeah, you can see that back plane. Gives you a bit of an idea. This is the more advanced version, maybe called the Pro. I don't know yet. But Yeah, so obviously that's probably the main thing I'll be showing, but also the cases. And I'm bringing a couple of cases, so what I'm going to show you now is a couple of setups I'm going to bring along. Now this one here, let's just see if you can notice what this is. I haven't actually done a big video of it, I don't think, which is something I've got to do. But there you go. Yeah. So this is my original 500, not the one I had 30 years ago, but this is one I bought recently, and I built into the original 1500 plus case. It's been through different guises, had different things in it, but I've now got, in this one, I've got a PiStorm, which I set up about a week or two ago, and it's absolutely amazing. So I did a bit of a video on this, I think, already. But so I'm going to bring this along with me so people can have a look. And it's also using, this is a PS2 keyboard. So if you've got a broken Amiga keyboard, then the PS2 pack is probably for you. I'll probably do a version of the pack without the PS2. Or you can just buy the PS2 pack and add one of my, if you've got a working Amiga keyboard, you can just buy one of my cases and the cable kits. They're not they are what they are. They're a little bit expensive what they are, but it's just expensive to make. So this is a more cost effective. You may just decide to do this because it's going to save you money, but it is an option for people who've just got like a board, or if you've got one of these A5++ boards and no keyboard. So this is actually a good option for that. But I absolutely love. Now I've got to be careful. I don't want to get a strike on this off the video and all the videos that are on here. But it's amazingly fast. I mean, I can't believe how quick this thing was. It's considering it's only got a Pi 3 Plus, the speed out of this is quite something. But I think that's because it's obviously not emulating chips. It's only emulating CPU. And doing the RTG kind of stuff, but it can do that probably standing on its head. And of course the magic of Michael Schulz with his EMU 68, what can I say. So I'll be bringing this along with me, and you can come along and see this. And now I'm going to show you another machine that I'm going to bring along, and we'll go through that. Right, I'm obviously bringing this monitor. Now this is basically Appy's stuff in here, okay? Now, hopefully you're all going to get to me. I'm probably going to do, during the Kickstarter, I might do an interview with Appy. I think he might get a bit embarrassed, but because I think you'd be interested to know a little bit about him, because he's one of these people that my mic. He's one of these people that kind of works quietly, but like many, creates some fantastic stuff. Got some amazing skills, and so just so you can see now, these are still prototypes. Okay, still prototypes, but this is basically what we call a slot zero board. So if you go for the basic one, you won't get any of this. If you go for the light version, you're not getting this stuff. You're going to get the basic controller with our breakout board, and then you'll have the option of upgrading to the SCART interface. Okay, but if you want to do this, if you've got the budget, and you can, because these are not going to be cheap in small numbers. But they do offer a lot of advantages, which I will go through in the Kickstarter. But so basically, once you've got there's a back plane which connects to the controller board. You may have seen the original controllers kind of hidden at the bottom, so it's all communicated. Everything just goes by the bus. So ignore that. That's just for prototypes, test stuff. Basically, with this system, all you do is you take the slot naught is obviously important because it replaces all the ports. Okay, so here's all your ports at the bottom. Your component, non-interlace component, no, interlace only component, then a couple of composite ins, the audio in, audio out. Remember, it's a prototype. You'll see this in the Kickstarter. And then there's the USB on the back, and we've got HDMI on the back. Here's the VGA. So basically, the things on the main controller. But it's got some extra bits. For example, now again, we're still experimenting. but it will have an HDMI switcher. So you'll have, instead of just having with the light version, you'll have one HDMI. So if you put something in it and connect it, as soon as you connect something, the external one's disabled. So that's important to understand. But it may be what you want. You want to put, for example, which I can't see, you might want to put a mister in it. And if you do, then you can, oh, that's in the back of this, that's why. You might want to put a mister in it. That will use the HDMI port. However, on the Pro version, it's got a switcher, so you can have more HDMI. So you can have 1 or 2 HDMI internally. For example, if I show you this one again, this is this bit prototype board. Okay, but if you can see on here that little box says the S video adapter I was telling you about. Okay, but there'll be an adapter made so you can put the S video and a Pi in it. Because the Pi doesn't take up much space, and you'll need 2 HDMIs for that, and then you'll have the internal 2 HDMIs which you can switch between, and still have an external one you can switch to. So this is where this high-end stuff is making up for the bits that are now missing, that are not in the standard controller. Now people say, why didn't you get a board with more HDMI controllers? Well, you don't get that if you want all this amazing audio-visual stuff. The AV stuff is just incredible. So we've got all that on there. The support for that is absolutely brilliant. We're just having to make up for it as we go along. So, so that's an S-video card, and that is just a prototype board, so I can switch the modes. Don't worry about that. But then, as I said, this is the slot 0 board that obviously goes in slot 0. It's the main controller card. But it's got quite a bit of stuff on that. Now, the next one. Now, this is an enhanced version of the Lite. There is a Lite version of this, a smaller card. You've probably seen this already. Originally designed by Byron, but it's been enhanced by Appy with an extra little bit of feature on it. So you're going to get the CGA stuff on it as well in Lite. But this is a more advanced one. Now, with the way to think about the Lite one is you're going to have to do some connections. That's one of the things. You're going to have to put plug connectors in all over, and sort out your own connections. It's a little bit more for someone who's quite happy with DIY at configuring things. Whereas with these, you see the connector at the top. You literally just get this thing, push it in, connect it, screw it in, done. It's finished. Okay, that's the whole point of this. And then you can just literally just plug these in, bang, and away they go. So that's one of the reasons. Now also it then means, so for the slot 0 board, you can see here, and then you've always got that, but then you can plug in this one, which is the GBS. For those that don't know, this is the GBS 8200, but it's also got GBS control, which completely transforms the quality of it, makes it into a fantastic thing. It means we can also keep the costs down, because this isn't going to be a cheap product. So if we can help by keeping down the cost of these bits, so most people would spend £200 on that, and this isn't going to be that much. But it also does. It's got component with interlace and non-interlace, SCART RGB. This one's also got SCART composite and SCART audio, and it's just got lots and lots of bits and pieces on here. That's to be honest, is of course the CGA, EGA on here. So you can plug in old PCs again. Now again, this is going to be all, you can come along and be able to see this. It'll be built into that monitor. I may a couple of times during the day take it apart to show people, but I'm not doing it every 5 minutes. So I may do it like at lunchtime, or just a couple of times during the day. But yeah, so but as you can see, everything on here is already ready to go. Now this is a 3D prototype frame. It's not going to be. The frames are actually going to be metal, and we're working on a way of making them slot in, clonk, and then just 2 screws, job's done. So that's what we're working on with these. Now, what is that? Now, what also means I'm in a dilemma, because I'm not sure what to bring to show it off. Now, I did consider I may bring this along, which is an Atari 800. And anyone who says, "Oh, what do you want to bring an Atari for?" And you don't know anything about the Amiga, do you? Because the chipset on here was designed by the same guy, Jay Miner, who designed the Amiga chips. Just in case you didn't know. So I think I'd bring it out. The reason for that is it's got an S-video output. I've got a cable, and it'll show off the S-video side of things. Or this. This is my C128D that I bought from Appy, and I love the way you put the keyboard underneath. Now this can show off the S-video, composite, and the CGA stuff, the 16 colour CGA stroke EGA. And it can show. So I'm thinking of probably going to bring this, but I'm not 100% sure yet, because I'm worried about losing it. I think if it goes missing, because I think they're kind of rare. But yeah, so I may bring that along. So I'm a bit of a dilemma. Put it in the comments, you know, if which one you think I should bring, because obviously I'm an Amiga fan, so I'll bring an Amiga 500 supercharged and an AROS machine. But I also want something else to show off the other features of the card. There'll also be a D10 mister in here. You may have seen pictures, so I'll have a mister in here, but it'll be turned off. I'll turn it on and show what you can do on that. And so this is something special. Some of you may remember in the past, about 10 years ago, I created a product called the Amiga, which was a tiny little atom-powered board. And that was a complete native AROS machine with custom 3D and 2D graphics driver written by, or the 2D driver was written by Michael Schultz, who's doing the EMU 68K, which is why that RTG system's so good. I created this, and it had network support, Wi-Fi support, it had sound support, and I paid for all the drivers. I sold quite a few of them. I think I sold about 12. But that wasn't the reason I did it. It also basically the Amiga project and all the drivers fully supported these little netbooks. So if you get one of these Acer Aspire 1s, yes, Aspire 1s, you can pick them up for about £80, something like that. You can install AROS on it. Even now, the latest version of AROS, you can install it on here, and you've got a fantastic little AROS machine. So the drivers for that were absolutely brilliant. Did cost me quite a lot of money, and I obviously didn't recoup, but it was fun to do it, and it was, as always, it was good to support AROS. But let me just turn this off. So that was back then, and I'm at it again. Okay, but this time, what I'm doing is, I'm building, I've managed to track down some no, they're not new old stock, they're like old stock motherboards. But I can get them in reasonable numbers, probably about 30 to 50 of the things. And they have NVIDIA graphics support, they have HD audio support already in them, but they don't have, the network is not native. At the moment in this, I'm plugging in a PCI card, which is the RTL 8169, but I'm having at the moment Neil Kafferkey is writing me a driver, again costing money, but hey, that's the way it is, to have a native networking on this. So I'm going to be doing a bundle with some options. So basically, now it's good. The prices. This is aimed at price. The basic system, like $399, excluding VAT and shipping. Okay, because I have to do that because I ship around the world. So excluding VAT, aiming at $399 for this system. That's the case. That's the keyboard, the mouse, the motherboard, everything you need to get a complete AROS machine up and running. No monitor, obviously. And I will make this information available in the coming weeks. But I'm going to bring this along to the show because, if on first glance, it's a 2.8 gigahertz. It's a single core CPU, AMD CPU, but it's a for AROS is really powerful. There's no point getting multi-core because this version of this Icarus doesn't have full multi-core. Now, yes, there is an experimental AROS that does have SMP. But you don't want that. What you want is a workable system. I'm not going to do a great deal on this, but I want to show you a couple of little things. A couple of the extras that you'll be able to get is you'll be able to add a DVD drive. So it will come with the bits, and you'll be able to add it. But you'll need to, if you're going to add your own DVD, which is the LG GS40N, I can supply it or you can get it, but you then need all the internal connectors. And then you can... Now I've got a music CD. I can't actually play it because I'll get a strike. But yeah, so you can add a DVD player, so you can put music CDs into it, that kind of thing, or you know, like Amiga CD-ROMs, and you can access them. It's also got now this is going to come with a customized version of Icarus. It's basically me tweaking it a little bit to change a few things to the way I like to do it. If you want to go back and do it your way, that's up to you. But I think this is a good way of doing it. For example, a nice full screen OWB works great. What I might do actually is turn that brightness down. Yes, that's way too high for video. Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, that'll do. Right. So as you can see, it's got OWB, which is a really nice browser. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. You can't view all the on sites. YouTube is a bit tricky. I think it technically does it, but for basic browsing, it's really good. I like it a lot. But as I said, this is not a tutorial on Icarus. If you don't know what AROS is, this is not the video. This is just an introduction to show you what I'm bringing to the show. Okay. Now you can't see how good this screen looks, obviously, but I've got, so now on Icarus, there's this tech called AmiBridge, which is a really nice emulator, Amiga emulator called Janus, which is written for AROS, and it's been Paolo configures it in a way I don't really like. He uses coherency, and I'm not a big fan of coherency because it kind of slows things down. So what I've done here is I'm going to be supplying this with an Amiga Forever CD, just the version 8. I'm not going to upgrade to 9, nothing like that. I've got to do, I can get it relatively inexpensively, and I've got a whole bunch of them which I've already pre-bought, and I'm going to include that so you can do this. So I've got a number of setups. Okay, now it's probably hard to see from there. Now this first setup is what I'm calling the RTG setup, and it's Amiga Forever's Amiga OS 3X. Okay, so I'm using that, but it does mean you've got this 1280 1024 fantastic RTG system on here, and it works brilliantly. You can run all your software. For example, I've got Lightwave in here. If I run Lightwave, you see, let me brighten up just a bit. Yeah, it's a bit of a dance with the brightness, I'm afraid. Just to get it so you can see it on the screen. So I've got here, but look, I've already configured this. Let me load a scene. Oh, let's go find the scenes. Here we go. Switch. There you go. Nice high resolution setup. Okay. Right, for example, you've got perfect paint. Okay. There we go, perfect paint. But basically, and you've even got, oh, actually, I've switched screen. Back to AROS. Oh, right. So as you can see, let's quit that. And there's also shapeshifter on it. There's lots of stuff I've put on here, but there's a lot of stuff that's on the Amiga Forever disc, which is included on here. Now, that's for RTG graphics. So if you want to do anything like word processing or graphics, anything like that needs 24-bit, that kind of thing, this is the one you want to run it on. Okay. There's also a reboot button up here. Now, what you might want to do, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that, because I'm doing not just that, there's another one now. Right, so this is basically for WHD load. Okay, now I'm sorting the license out with Bert so I can include WHD load on it, and I've got some games and demos from the Amiga Forever CD-ROM, so I haven't used any others. But you've got basically, it's a nice setup. It's in an 800 by 600 RTG display, but it's really configured for using WHD load, so everything works quite nicely. So I'm trying to create these environments that you, depending on what you want to do. If you want to do some proper RTG stuff, you can go into that version. If you want to do some WHD load demos, that kind of thing, you can run this. So we've got on here Tiny Loader. Let's load up a demo. Hopefully the volume's not too loud or too quiet. Now this is just running in, now remember this is AROS, okay? So it's just running a demo, it runs all your games, it runs your demos, etc. Let this go for a second, then I'll get rid of it. There you go, right, so that yeah, which one do I press? I thought it was F10. Right, let's get rid of that. We've also got on here music players. I mean, look, this is a nice. In fact, this is the setup on Amiga Forever. I've just tweaked and added some bits to it. Okay, so just to give you a working system. Now that's not the only one. There's an extra one. So if I get rid of this. Now I really like this one. I'm not sure how much you'll use it. See how long it takes you to recognise this. Now again, this is all running. This is emulation running under AROS, but it's full screen, so it just works really nicely. Just to show. There you go. So there's AROS behind it. Also showing obviously the scrolling screens, which I took Deadwood into doing. I'm still glad I did. So basically this is a nice 1.3 OS, which you can make it really fast. You can add lots of chip RAM, or you can set it with half a mega chip RAM. I've set this up with like a mega chip RAM and about 8 mega RAM, but it's, you know, it's all here. So if you want to relive the Amiga 1000 days, what's this one? Is this any good? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Now I've got this running at standard 7 megahertz emulation, so it's really showing you what it was like. So I can move this around, and you can see it's kind of. Oh, it's quite good fun because you can increase the speed. It might well crash, but there we go. Let's get rid of that. What we'll do is. I do have another. I'm really going to freak it out now. And because I gave it 1 mega chip RAM, which the Amiga 1000 never had. Let's see if this is going to work. Yeah. Oh. There we go. Now what I might do, this mod, just for fun, see what happens. Let's see if we can speed this thing up. Now, it might crash because I've just switched the speed. But yeah. Let's close that. I've got. Right, let's bring that up. And you can see these are still running. So I've got this in here so that you can, from AROS, you can run a 1.3. You can run a WHD load setup. Or you can run that really nice high resolution RTG system. So and with some example software, so you literally out the box you'll get going. So you get all that for $3.99 basically. So hopefully you like that and come along to the show and have a look at this. Okay. Let's go back here and kill this. Of course, this is quite capable. Again, I'm got to be careful what I play here. Let's see what videos I've got on here. Oh, here's something I created with. I created that with Lightwave on it, and then I took the frames and used Perfect Paint to turn them into an Apple movie format, and then it would play, which is quite nice. What else have we got? I've got to be careful what I play on this, obviously. Oh, here's one of my old videos. And looking at me, right? There we go. Switch it into full screen. Yeah, it's kind of because it's 4:3 aspect ratio. We can change that actually if you want to, because the way that is. Watch. Just get to the monitor, go to zoom, and because it's a 16:9 video, we can just do it in the monitor. Okay. Now what we do is we go back. There we go. So as you can see, there's quite a lot here, and on that CD, which I'm not going to play. I'm going to play it for about 2 seconds. In fact, no, I'm not. He'll play the CD. It does come up saying CD1 bad, unfortunately, but that's because it's not an Amiga. It's a music CD. But it's absolutely fantastic. So there's a load of stuff on it. If you haven't used AROS, you need to go. It's probably not for you. But they're going to be limited numbers. As I said, I've got a certain amount of boards. Now everything's new, including the CPU, funnily enough, and the memory. Everything's new except for the motherboard. But I've got a stock of these motherboards, which I'm going to get. I've already got half a dozen of them, so I can ship some already. But I've got access to a whole load more. And as I said, I can get the driver written. So now on the driver, the network driver, just so everyone in the AROS community knows, even though it's costing me, again, it'd be nice if I sell some cases with the kits. You know, if I sell some kits, it'd be fantastic. Recoup that money. But Neil's going to release the source code in, I think, December. Let's make it Christmas. Yeah, we'll do it as a Christmas present to the AROS community. I'll put that out there, then everyone can go and do it if you want to build your own. I'm probably going to sell the motherboards themselves as well separately if you want to put them in a cheaper case. Not initially. In the new year I'll probably do that. We'll see how it goes, because I'd like to obviously sell some of these. That's the whole point of this now, especially now it's my job. So yeah, I'll be bringing this along. If you're going to Amiga 37, come along and have a play. Hope you like it. That was on so long the camera went off. Manual focus. I'm back. Does the remote come in beige? Actually, no. I don't know. Probably not. I don't bring much of a case. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I am. They asked me if I was going to sponsor Amy West again this year, and I had to decline. Saving the pair. All my money's gone into Amiga 37, so I said I'd do it next year. Yes, right. So unfortunately, I can't remember what I said at the end of the video, but yeah, I literally recorded. You can see I've got the same T-shirt on. I recorded that earlier. It's easier that way. Right. So just going to go for a couple of bits. You now know most of it, and so as you can see, there's the. You know what I'm taking with me. You can see my AROS machine, but probably an interesting thing. Now, you're not actually seeing this work, but if you look in there, can you see the... so basically what we've got here is that is the slot 0, okay, and the mains board, because it's got like 2 layers, right? And there's the back plane with the slots. They're not Zorro, but they kind of look like it. They're the same size. I think it's... I don't know how many pins actually, now you come think of it. But the idea of them is, I mean, it works great. I've been having lots of fun setting it all up, and I've been redoing. I don't know if you saw the picture earlier on. I've redone this one to tidy this up, and it's a bit better now. So that literally pops in the back, so you kind of slide it in there. It's not exactly the way I'd want to do it, but I don't know if you could hear that, and it just clicks into place. Oh, hang on. There you go. Yeah, not very bright, is it? Let's tip it. But anyway, so it goes in the slot, nice and easily, and of course you can carry it. I've also, you probably know, I've designed the new front, and I've got the button working. I've got this is bigger, and a few other bits and pieces. I'm holding off on getting that next prototype made because it's 700 quid, and I'm being very careful with money at the moment because this is not now my hobby. So that might wait until after the Kickstarter. Okay. As I always said, I mean, these two monitors, don't ask me what these two monitors have cost. I could have bought a new motorbike. But yeah, so internally, now I've got another one here. I was going to go in there. You might have seen this already. This is that little S video adapter. So let's switch it on to, oh no, because the trouble with doing that with this, if you turn the autofocus, it puts a bloody great red box around it. Yeah, that's this video. Ignore, this is just a button that's on a test board, and so ignore that. But we're doing some testing so I can manually switch through rather than, because the production ones will have a button at the front. At the moment it's a little, I'm just reusing my buttons. But yeah, so that's to go in. And for people who go, oh, what about the retro thing? Well, of course I haven't forgotten them, as you probably know. So we're still going to have these, so you can put a retro tink or a mini or a pro. I don't think you can get minis anymore, which are perfectly good, and they are the obviously the optimum choice if you want S video. Ours is good, not as good as this, but then again it's about 25 quid. It's about 100 to 200, you know, so 130 for the pro, and about 70, 80, I think it's about 80 pound for the mini, but it is good, it's very good, so hence there'll be a holder. What else have I been doing? Oh yeah, I've got my Mister in my machine, in that one up there. I'm doing I've got to do a new mounting for it because I want to put a power button on the back of it so we can have it turned off, so you can just use it as a monitor, and then when you want to just flick that switch. It'll be a bit neat, but actually it's quite a nice button actually. It will be a bit neater than that, but it's a nice way of putting either a Pi or one of these. So look, just take the case off, full stack, slap it in. There you go. But also, one thing I am thinking of doing, which I think is quite a neat one to do, is to have one with this and be able to put a Pi in it next to it. Now, you get into an area where I think I've already mentioned. I have already mentioned this. Let me just switch. Let me get some pictures up. Let me go for this light business again. So as you probably know, this is going to be the way it's going to be now, because I'm concerned about cost. You know, at the end of the day, you pay for what you get. But a lot of people just want a basic monitor. So there's going to be a light version, which is the basic one, which basically you get the controller and the breakout board on the top, and that'll sit in the bottom shelf. Okay, whereas on the, I don't know if it's going to be called Pro yet, open to ideas, but you know. So if you've got any ideas for a name for the advanced version, I thought about, you know, I want light LTE maybe, or something like that for the, I'm going to call them all 1089S, light or pro. I think pro is, I don't know about pro, but having said that, I think it's quite a good one, because the quality on the light is actually really good, right? But the quality steps up. I mean, before we redid all the wiring inside the other one, the 19-inch, it was okay, but it was a bit noise. Now there's no noise and it looks fantastic. So there's a whole load of benefits you get with Appy's boards. I mean, a lot. But what I'm trying to do is give people a low-cost entry point in. So here's the light version. This will be the thing on the Kickstarter. You'll also, when you get the Kickstarter, you'll be buying. Now, this is the important. This is going to confuse some people. But the Kickstarter is for the case and the controller. Okay, there's no panel. The idea of this is because obviously Kickstarter take quite a lot. I mean, I don't begrudge it, but Kickstarter take quite a lot from the cost. So I don't want them taking off the panel, because you know, and plus the fact that it's going to be a few months. So I thought, well, we do it for the case and the controller, and then all you need to do is add a panel. The main reason being because when I'm going to go China, as you, some of you already know this, but I'm going to go China, and I'm going to basically pick 2 or 3 really good quality ones. Now I've already got, I love these, and these are default panels. Honestly, I think these are fantastic, but I need to be able to give people other options. So I'm going to be choosing a couple more panels, probably not an OLED. They're like, you really can't get them. If I can get an OLED and you've got 2 kidneys, maybe I can take one of them. But OLED's probably out of the question. But see if I can improve on it, you know. I'd be hard pressed, because again, I think these are fantastic. But I do want to give people options. So you'll order the case and the controller and everything. And then when we ship, just like a couple of months before, 2 or 3 months before, once all the molds are done, we'll then say, here's the extras, right? You know, I do quite well have extras. So one of them would be a panel. And I'll probably go, because of the mess that our government here is making of our pound to the dollar, and it's all buying everything in dollars. Probably going to put the prices so you can see the prices now in dollars, and then later on I'll convert that to pounds. So you know, it could be up or down. I don't know, but that gives me a bit of flexibility to not lose money, right? Because I can't lose money. So, but I'll give you some options, and then there'll be extras. Or you might want to, if you've ordered, you'll obviously be ordering the light version by default. No one's going to order the plus, so it'll be an upgrade price. I will make this price known, so we won't sting you with the Kickstarter. So I will make that price known. But again, it's that, you know, 10% of the cost instead of adding it on, you know, because that's what you have to do with the Kickstarter. You have to add a little bit on. And so you'll be able to, so in other words, you'll be paying like half of it with the Kickstarter and the other half later, which for a lot of people, that's actually quite a nice way of doing it. Some people just want, I want to pay for it now, usually rich ones. Most people, it's like, oh, okay, I can pay half now and half later. That really helps. So that's another thing. Then you can upgrade to the full Pro Pack or just keep the light. Also, there'll be the, let me see if I can find it. Here's a little picture, right? This is our new board. Now, some of you know Byron did a board for me. I'll show you where this, let me see if I can find, oh no, I haven't got a picture on it, look. Right, so if you see that middle one, that's the Pro version. All these are the Pro versions, okay? But the one in the middle is basically the GPS control and the GPS 200, ACE200 and API's system for doing CGA, EGA. We're doing versions so you could still have one. If you've got the light one and you can't afford to upgrade to the Pro Pack and all the extra, you know, all that stuff, don't have to worry, because you can just, we're doing a light version of that. So it's for people on a lower budget, right? So, you know, I think it's going to be important. And then there'll be loads of other options like the fitting kits and that kind of thing. You know, this thing, for example, it's not going to cost a lot. I mean, this is only 25 quid, you know, for the S-video converter, and the frame about a tenner. Do you know what I mean? So they won't be overly expensive, some of these parts. Yeah, so that's where we're going with this. And you can see this is all Pro boards. Now, again, remember these are prototypes, but that's why I did this picture so you can see inside. So you will upgrade to the Pro later on if that's what you want. I don't want to go through all the benefits of it now. I mean, I have kind of a little bit. You do get on the Pro with the light, you only get one HDMI, and if you put something inside, you've lost the external. That's one of those things. Whereas with the Pro version, it will have a HDMI switcher. Now, I don't know if it's going to be 3 or 5 ports yet. That's what we're looking at the moment. We was trying to design our own, the royal we. Abby's screaming at me. No, wait, hang on. We as a company. Abby's been trying. But we've been trying to. Abby's been trying to do the HDMI. And it's a bit of a headache, and it's probably going to end up too expensive. It's easy just to get one, screw it on them, and just make it work, integrate it in. So that's probably what we're going to do, unless we have a major breakthrough. Because I like the idea of a single board, but it may not work out like that. And we know it's no point charging another £100 for a switcher that cost a tenner. It's not. So yeah, I think these work. This monitor works great, absolutely brilliant. And I did find one fault. Turned out it wasn't. I was having trouble. You don't need, but basically the VGA would only work in 1024. Maybe was having problems with the others, but it's fine. So it must be something cable not plugged in or something stupid like I don't know. But it seems to be working all right now. Yeah, then there's a few little things on there that, because it's a prototype, things we're experimenting with. You know, again, royal we. So we're getting really close because, to be honest, we've already got. Gotta say, Appy's already got. He's already got V3 pretty much done. All right, we're on V2.6, and it's whether because at the moment it's I need more Patreons or the Kickstarter. So I may just wait for the Kickstarter. Because we've got two models, we can show all the new electronics, we can show everything. It's only a case of making another prototype, probably another generation or two, experiment, a little bit more tweaking, fine tuning, but basically the design is there. This, it's probably showing you, as it stands at the moment, there are going to be countersunk screws that match the colour of the case. But the side, it will be more in keeping with the top. You've seen the pictures, and of course the whole 19 and 17 inch and the stand. That's going to be a stretch goal for both, I think, because 80% of people want the 19 inch, so it's not a huge market for the 17. But having said that, it's only a front panel. It's a bezel. That's all it is, and so I'm probably going to do just do a stretch goal to get that option, and again you can do that. You could have, someone asked me a while back, can you put your own panel in? Now it's a tricky one, that one, because theoretically if you got, say, a 19-inch panel and you mount it, okay, because the mount screws may be in different place, but if you can get one and it's 1280 by 1024 60 hertz, the existing driver should probably work. But that's not a promise. But you could theoretically, that's an answer for some people who say, I've got 19-inch panels coming out of my ear holes. Plop one in. Who knows? And I've got half a dozen panels. I'm going to actually try the experiment myself and see if it actually works. I'm not guaranteeing that, but there is a potential. And if it don't work, you can always order a panel. So it's not the end of the world. Right, but I now need to really, now that this generation of Appy's boards, I'd say a 90%, 80 to 90% there. Do need tweaks, need things moving around a little bit, little things like this, little changes and that kind of thing. But we're not far off of production. Again, we need a couple of revisions and tests and that kind of thing, because it's quite a big thing to make. But we're not far away from the Kickstarter now, so I have no reason to believe it won't be this side of Christmas. So, fingers. I need to get it going. I really, really need to get it going. Shut up, Appy. Otherwise, we will be having a talk. We'll see when we launch the Kickstarter, and then Appy won't be working for free, which he volunteered. So I do want to get this off the ground, because his girlfriend Rita deserves a holiday, probably away from him. We'll see. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Right, any questions? Let's have a look at the questions. be weird in a different case. You're making things to sell. 10 minute. Doing great, friend. Just spending hours going through all the Amiga. I like the redesign. Love your ideas. Plus. Don't know. I don't know if it says it really, because it's a lot on these boards. There's a lot of signal cleaning, signal amplifiers, audio amplifier. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here that's really stepping it up a bit. You know what I mean? We'll. No, I don't know. I don't think Plus does it really. Steve, what do you think of the idea of a Mystics 2.0 that could slot into the checkmate monitor but still retain mini ITX? Yeah, I had kind of thought about that, and Edu's got a lot going on in his life at the moment, so not too sure. Not too sure about that, but I have mentioned it. But we're hoping that these boards with the fingers. We'll have a template one, so you can just drop your stuff onto it, and you can draw power and feed graphics and sound into it onto the backplane. So you know, it's not. I'm not saying it's not. Well, Eddie will probably knock one up in about a weekend. You know, I know what he's like. So it's not a big. And I know what you mean, mini ITX. But it would probably need a mounted frame because it won't be the full depth. Because you've only got like I forget. I think it's 100mm depth. I can't remember now. But I mean, look, you've got that much space, which is not a mini ITX to be up here. So you've got the width, so you can get the backplane, but you've not got the depth, obviously. But I quite like the idea of that as well myself. You know, like an FPGA. But then again, you could just as easily. Well, that costs a fortune now. Pop one of these in, and get the benefits. Right. Not many more questions. So I'm going to wrap up. Unless there's any more questions, feel free to ask while I'm here. In case you're wondering. Oh, you can't. Spitfire. Yeah, D10 is going to be the one. It is quite tight on the one on the 19-inch. It literally just slides underneath. But you don't need the analog board, you see. You could just have all you really need is the D10 and the USB board underneath it. Everything else is just HDMI power, and it connects inside, and you've got USB at the back, and maybe bring some USBs to the front of the monitor. So you don't really need all the analog stuff unless you really want it. And as you can, I know I've taken it off now. As you can see, I've got the ports on the back, but I know I showed a picture with all the cables. It's very difficult to route those cables, and I'm also using that over there now with the new version with a round hole to put the power button in. So a little bit of work on that, but I don't think you need a network cable personally, because you can just plug in a Wi-Fi dongle, USB dongle. Are you able to get PIS? PIS? What's PIS? What's PIS, Jeremy? Not sure. Pies. Sorry. No. I've already tried, to be honest. I've actually. Well, to be fair, just so you lot know, I have actually got 2 spare Mystics, right? Basically, I had a couple of issues. Sent them to Edu. He's tweaked them, sorted them all out for me. So I've got 2 Mystics, which are coming back, and I've got 2 spare D10 Nanos. So I may be doing one of the 2 packs. So I'm not selling the bloody Mystics on its own. It's a pack, right? Case, everything, to make it worthwhile. But I'll have 2. On the subject of have I got any pies? No, I'm no better off than you lot. Don't have any magic answer to that, I'm afraid. Right, so any more questions? Because I'm gonna have to get. I've actually got to start another job printing. If you've got any questions, I'll answer them. If you haven't, I'm gonna go. I'm thinking of picking up a piece. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get one of them. The funny thing is, it doesn't work. I bought it, and well, it's probably me. I probably powered it wrong or something stupid like that. But I only bought it to make design the mounting frame. But that will pop in very easy. Probably have to run the HDMI back in again. Yeah, because it's kind of at the back. Yeah, it's all in there, so you can probably do what I did in the back of this one here, which is a little ribbon one. One of these ribbons that comes back in again. But yeah, the normal Pi 4s are better because they've got the internal connector. But yeah, so there you go. Lots of ways of doing it. I think the best thing is that you just carry the damn thing around. I'm even thinking of, if it's a success, then maybe do a bag to carry it in. You know, put keyboard in, mouse, power cable, that kind of thing. I hate to say I'm copying the iMac, right? But you know, I've got one in the loft, right? I got one of the bags in the loft. It's actually quite nice, and maybe do a bag with that actually hooks into this handle, because that's steel supported, so it ain't going nowhere. Yeah, maybe do a bag. I don't know yet if it's feasible, but we'll see. Right, yeah, Appy wants to go on about his girth. You know what? Right, I'm gonna go. With that bag, that's handy. I actually needed one of them. Oh, more. I tell you what we'll do is we will get rid of them. Wow, I got in case any of you wanted to click on it, I've hidden it. LAN party monitor strap thing for lugging monitor. Yeah, I mean, I just think it'd be quite nice to have a bag. You know, a pretty strong bag, because these are not huge. And if you've got a bag, you can put this in, and you like a keyboard in there, a mouse, cables, maybe some. I don't know. Someone put SD card. I don't know, whatever. I think it'd be, because I just think just makes it really, for retro stuff, I think it's fantastic. So taking to a meeting, that kind of thing, I think it'd be brilliant. But yeah, right, okay. Not clicking that. Saving for a monitor. Yeah. All right. Look, I'm not gonna be doing a stream next week. I'm not doing it. Because I won't be back home probably until about 2 in the morning on Monday morning. So as if yeah. Well, I've got my train booked at 12. So yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, thanks very much. Hopefully, if you're coming to Amiga 37, come say hello. Forgive me if I don't remember, you know, your name on the thing. I'm terrible when I'm at shows. I always forget people and that kind of thing. So don't look at me like I'm an arsehole. Well, you might anyway. But and if you are there, come up and say hello. Right, unless there's any more questions, I'm going to go. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and then I'm going to stop the stream. If I can find the tool, funny enough. That was another happy joke, isn't it? Right. See you later, guys. Thanks very much. Bye.